Hey everybody, it's Dave Taylor. Thanks for hanging out on the YouTube. We are testing camera shots right now. Getting excited. Celeste and Danielle will be in here soon. Make sure to like and share this video so your friends and family can join.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This is a live look here at New York. You were just looking at it right there. Welcome on in, 10 o'clock, Fox 10 Talks. And we also have this morning Danielle in with us. Nice to see you.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, welcome
Hello.
on in.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Let's go right to our poll question this morning. We have some big developments in the global headlines here when it comes to the relationship between the U.S. and Iran. It looks as though they're reaching a peace agreement here. And what are you hoping to see first? Many of you have already been voting on this. And good morning to everyone in the chat. Thomas Favela, Louis Gonzalez, Sherry Nevada Pup, nice to see you. Linda Monterth. A lot of our regulars are chiming in this morning. Lil Philosophy, if you are new to the chat, let us know where you're watching from. And we'd love to hear your vote as well on this poll and on our YouTube poll, and we'll get to that in just a brief moment. But right now, what are you hoping to see first with this potential peace agreement with the U.S. and Iran? Dropping gas prices 11%, long-term deal to permanently stop Iran's nuclear program 56%, and then 33% of you say better overall stability for the U.S. economy as well as the markets. And so more to come on that, of course, throughout the day. Oop, the numbers are moving, but still kind of hovering in the same general neighborhood, I guess, if you will. Let's look at the YouTube poll, Danielle.
All right. What is it? Fox 10 Talks poll question. With the U.S. and Iran reaching a peace agreement to end the conflict, what are you hoping to see first? We just saw there a drop in gas prices, a long-term deal to permanently stop Iran's nuclear program, better overall stability for the U.S. economy and the markets. So, and some numbers happening there, 44%, a drop in gas prices, which I think, at the end of the day, that typically hits everybody. Everybody can understand that. Everybody can feel that. When you're talking about war and instability with, that type of situation, some people, it's hard to understand and put it all together. But gas prices are very easy and to understand when it hits your pocketbook. So.
And for a lot of you, I'm just going to give you a quick pop-up here of the Dow. This is pretty impressive on this Monday. We have been teetering around between 51 and 50,000 on the Dow. In a lot of days in the last many weeks, we have been in the red, dropping down into 49,000. But right now, we're up almost 700 points in the market.
Which is good.
For a lot of people, if you're close to retirement, or even if you're not, and you just want, your investments to do well.
Yep.
This is great news.
It is great news. And when you hear that, I think the biggest thing is the Strait of Hormuz opening. I think it really does, even when they just mention it, it benefits the stock market. And then obviously when you hear word that it's going to be closed or continue to be closed, or there's going to be, ramifications for people that use it and go through it, the stock drops. So it's very fluctuating.
Yes, so true. And I think they're thinking the possibility, which is interesting, is that they think the U.S. will eventually probably play Iran if they buth finish a certain way in their groups in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting
Very
to see
interesting
as well.
to see that.
And Iran was supposed to actually train here.
Yeah, and then they canceled that, right?
Yeah, they canceled. They ended up training in Mexico, and then
we have Turkey here.
We
practicing, I believe, right?
Yeah, at Arizona Athletic Grounds.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. My daughter was out there.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, she went. Her and one of her teammates. They went out there, and she had a picture with one of the players.
Aww.
It was really cool to see. How friendly they were.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're
fans.
loving it.
Yeah. And apparently, I didn't know this either. We actually have a very, I knew this, that we had a lot of different nationalities in Phoenix, but we have a lot of Turkish families here, and a lot of them traveled from Tucson.
Oh, okay.
For the practice.
Which, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
You're going to see, and I'm sure they follow those soccer players, and they're very, popular, so.
Yeah.
It's a quick drive.
It is a quick drive, for sure. And, yes, we do have our Monsoon special. Krystal's going to join us at the end of the 10 o'clock hour, leading into 11 a.m. to talk about the Monsoon special. Good morning to all of you. And it actually was a very pleasant surprise to see a change in our weather pattern.
Yes. Driving in this morning, there was lightning all over the valley, which is so cool. And then the second I walked out of my house, it's the humidity. It just hit me.
You can feel it.
Straight from the AC outside. I'm like, whoa, monsoon is here.
Definitely feel it. So vote in the poll question. Let me give you that one more time, and you can scan the QR code that you see on your screen. We would love to hear from you guys on what you think about this situation with the peace agreement with Iran and the U.S. And let's get to some of our biggest headlines here this morning. We're going to take you to the state of Missouri right now. This is topping national headlines. Federal investigation is currently underway this morning after a skydiving plane crashed in Missouri, sadly killing all 12 people on board. We have a big skydiving community here in the valley.
Yep.
As well.
What's the town where the skydiving?
Down in Eloy or Florence.
Eloy, there you go. Eloy. Yeah, I've been to that campus. That there's a bunch of skydiving companies that fly out of there.
It's just heartbreaking. Okay, you guys are talking about gas prices. Keep it up in the chat. We'll get to it in just a brief moment as soon as we get through a couple of these stories here for you. So authorities, according to some of the officials that are investigating this, they say that the plane lost power and went down just after takeoff from Butler Memorial Airport yesterday. That's about 60 miles or so south of Kansas City. Officials say that 11 skydivers and one pilot on board, and there were no survivors.
No, and I think it was a single engine, what they said, and it was a very typical plane that is typical for this type of, recreation, the skydiving. So it's just What an awful.
It is. It's just awful and heartbreaking. And so this is some video here of those investigators kind of combing the scene and doing a little bit of work out there. Yeah. So it's going to take them, as you can imagine, quite some time. Sometimes it takes many months, even up to a year, to figure out what's going on.
And what's really sad is I was listening to a radio program this morning, and they were talking about this. You know, when people go skydiving, a lot of times a lot of family members are waiting on the ground, and they can watch you as you're coming down. And they did say, in fact, that a lot of family members of these victims were on the ground, you know, waiting to see their loved ones do that, skydiving. And so just so tragic.
It really is. It's heartbreaking. Let's move on to the next story. Let's go back to the story when it comes to Iran. We're going to take you overseas for this next one. And what is happening with this potential agreement with the U.S. and Iran. This is big time news here. President Trump says the United States and Iran have reached an agreement to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The deal announced yesterday in a Truth Social post that you see here. According to the Pakistani officials who served as mediators during talks, the agreement means both sides have now declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. And I believe it's 20% of the world's oil is transported through the Strait of Hormuz. And I believe it's about a 21-mile stretch of water. And so this is huge news.
Huge. Yeah. And it's crazy to think about, you know, before this war even started, who had even heard of the Strait of Hormuz?
Right?
I've never said it more in my life, you know, now, obviously, but how impactful is this, you know, the strait here that, you know, now we all know it's very, you know, a common term in our vocabulary because of everything going on. So, yeah, hopefully everything can open up and run smoothly and freely. I know there's been a lot of back and forth between, you know, people are going to have to pay a fee to go through and, you know, so hopefully it can just go back to the way it was before the war started. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, let's take a look at Doug Luzader's been covering this for us out of the East Coast there in D.C. Let's take a look at that.
A military flyover at the White House. On the South Lawn, the president watched last night's UFC fights from a cage-side seat, part of a day-long celebration on his 80th birthday.
Gonna rewatch it on your way to France? Let's do another one tomorrow.
Minutes later, he was pumping his fist while boarding Air Force One for the long flight to France and the G7 summit there starting today. Much of the talk may center on his just-announced deal with Iran. On social media, he wrote, "With the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world." As some Democrats are already questioning the deal and the details are still uncertain. It is expected to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. But one of the most contentious issues, dealing with Iran's nuclear program, would still be negotiated over the next 60 days. In the meantime, nothing is certain, and Iran could stall by ordering its proxy, Hezbollah, in Lebanon to keep fighting with Israel.
All right, and that was Doug Luzader this morning reporting on what's happening in D.C. Did you happen to watch that UFC fight last night?
I only saw clips from it, so highlights, the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And it actually looked so cool with that ring in the White House in the back, like the octagon, or I'm not sure. I'm not a huge UFC person. An octagon. Okay, there you go. I know some terminology, but it was so cool. And then all the red, white, and blue lights, and it looked really cool.
You know, we watched it. I had it. Gary was watching in the family room, and I was like in the kitchen making dinner and meal prepping.
Was
it on Paramount Plus?
Oh, okay.
So I guess if you already had Paramount. But it was interesting to watch just kind of the spectacle that it was. Whether or not you agree with the fact that it happened or not, it is a piece of history.
Yeah.
And what happened. And what was cool, though, is that all of the military personnel were there. Like you had Army and the Navy and Marines, and they were all there. And it was really cool to see a lot of people actually pay homage to them and just thank them for their service. So
was it typical of, I know the UFC fights, obviously when you're that front row, it's all the celebrities.
Yeah.
And was it
very
similar?
similar.
Very similar. Okay.
But you had President Trump and Melania there in
I
the
did
front.
see clips of them. Yeah.
And then you had like the first family. Most of them were there, and his grandkids after the last fight all went into the ring and
I know Barron was making a splash.
But
for
apparently
some reason.
the guy,
he was.
he's so tall.
He's huge. Huge. Even when you see him next to President Trump, I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid is like 7 feet tall.
I think he almost is.
He's huge.
I heard somebody say 6'8". But what was cool was the man who won the last fight, Gaethje, I think his name. We had a report that he's from Safford.
Oh.
Yeah.
A local
so if you're
boy.
in Safford or you know anything about him or
phone in.
Yeah,
Dave, do we have that capability?
we do have a viewer
there you go.
voicemail.
Call us, let us know.
262-0428.
There you go. 602-262-0248. Did you say?
0428.
0428. Yeah, send us in a note if you're. I know we have some people from Safford.
Oh, yeah.
Who are watching, and so yeah, let us know if. But apparently he was from Safford. And it was interesting to see. I think his dad's German, and he was like, "I have my mom's Mexican passion," or so, like,
okay.
you know, it was really cool. It was pretty cool to hear him.
That's so fun.
You know, kind of jumping off that point, we're going to talk a little bit more after the break about Iran, the World Cup, the U.S., and of course, we do have other stories making headlines as well. Let's go ahead and show you that poll question one more time. With the U.S. and Iran reaching a peace agreement, what are you hoping to see? 57% of you say a long-term deal to permanently stop Iran's nuclear program. Quick glance here at your mystery camera. We will do the big reveal at 10:30, but this is a quick glance at it, kind of a sneak peek for you. So we'll be right back after a quick break. All right, welcome back, everyone. Here is a live look at your mystery camera. We see some of you kind of noodling around where this could be, but we will do the big reveal at 10:30. Ron is off today, but he'll be back tomorrow. He's probably watching right now, Danielle.
Probably. Ron, good morning.
And Ron, you can guess too.
Yeah. We want to hear from you, Ron. Call in, please.
Oh, my goodness. So amazing. And so welcome back. Danielle is in this morning with us, and Dave Brousseau, good morning to you, Burger Boy, and Louis Gonzalez, Tuxie123, good morning to you. I'm so glad that you're here as well. Glad that you're chiming in. And if you're new, I think we have a couple of newbies out there. Let us know where you're watching from this morning. morning. We do have, as we talk about, of course, what is happening around the world, we're also talking about the issue around economy and
Social Security.
Social Security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is so many things, obviously with parents might be on Social Security, you might be on Social Security, everybody has questions about it, but so many misconceptions, so many questions, and paychecks, and how does it all work? It's kind of confusing.
It is. And so we do have someone here this morning to help us break all of this down. Charles Blahous and Blahous. Good morning to you, Charles. Nice to see you. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on.
We're going to try to figure out your audio. And let me go ahead and just read. We want to make sure that we give you, full service here and say exactly what your title is, because you worked hard on it. Senior Research Strategist at George Mason University. And so that just means you know a whole lot about what we're talking about. Let's jump right in, if we can, and talk about Social Security. And I think lots of people are wondering, and we've heard this chatter, I think, for a number of years, but are we running out of money?
Well, the short answer is yes. You can hear me now, I assume?
Yes, we got you
better
now, my friend.
Well, the short answer is yes. I mean, the program has been facing projected insolvency for a very long time. The latest trustees report confirms that. It's not really news, because trustees reports have been reporting this now for several decades. It would have been a very simple problem to deal with decades ago. All they needed to do was make a slight tweak to the benefit formula and the automatic rate of growth in it. The problem would have been solved, the problem would have been fixed. We wouldn't be in the difficulty we are in now. Unfortunately, lawmakers procrastinated, they avoided the problem, and now the problem has grown to a size where it's not very easy to solve.
And so, Charles, if people right now coming out of your paycheck is, you do have money that goes towards Social Security, does that mean, if I retire in 30 years, is there going to be no money left over from the Social Security money that I paid in my paycheck?
Well, here's what I don't think people have to worry about. I don't think they have to worry about the program going away. And I think people who are now on the program, they don't have to worry about their benefits suddenly being taken away from them. I wouldn't worry about those things. I don't think lawmakers are going to permit that to happen. But there is a big misalignment right now between the benefits that the program is promising and the tax collections that the program is bringing in. Those two things are grossly out of alignment. They should have been aligned a long time ago, but they haven't been. So something is going to have to be done to align those. Either we're going to have a slower rate of benefit growth going forward, or they're going to have to increase tax collections. More likely, they're going to have to do a little of everything, plus adjust eligibility ages down the line as well.
If someone is planning to retire, let's say 10, 15 years down the line, should they be relying on Social Security, or what are some of the other ways that they can prepare for that time of life in terms of retirement?
Well, Social Security is what's called a part of a three-legged stool, right? It's private pensions, Social Security, and individual saving. And you shouldn't be trying to rely on Social Security alone. Social Security is designed, on average, to probably meet about 40%, 50% of your retirement income needs. So you should be doing ample saving on your own if you want to have a comfortable retirement.
And does Social Security bounce from person to person in terms of the amount that people are getting? Celeste, would get a different rate than I'm going to get, or how does that work?
Right. Well, this is actually, there's actually a formula in law that directly relates the amount of your income that has been taxed, and there's a mathematical formula that converts that into a benefit. And this is actually a really great question, because while I am not worried about Social Security disappearing or people having their benefits taken away, what I am worried about is whether they'll be able to retain this feature. Because right now, the way it works is you as an individual and workers as a group get benefits that are a function of what they themselves have contributed. If we aren't willing to balance system finances, that's the features of Social Security that they may need to do away with. And that, I think, would be a real problem, because then there would be no rhyme or reason to the benefits people got out in relation to what they had put in. Benefits would become much less predictable. They'd become much less reliable. It'd be something more like a welfare program. And welfare programs, the rules are constantly changing. The benefit levels, eligibility rules are constantly changing. And that's what I don't think we want to see with Social Security.
What do you think would be and this is hard. It's like fixing the issue of immigration, probably. But what do you think is the easiest, most viable way to fix our issue and our problem with Social Security in the country?
Well, there was a very easy fix a few years ago, and we don't have that option anymore. It's sort of like you go to your doctor and they tell you have a potentially life-threatening disease, and then you don't treat it, right? And each year it gets a little bit worse, and then you get to the point where any treatment you have to undergo is going to be pretty severe and difficult, and that's kind of where we are now. If you'd asked me this question 20, 30 years ago, I would have said, really simple. There's a rate of benefit growth baked into law. All you have to do is tweak that rate of benefit growth, make it a little bit slower. Problem would have been solved. No need for any tax increases. No need for anything difficult. But now the size of the shortfall is equal to, believe it or not, 30% across the board benefit cut in all future benefit claims starting tomorrow. Right now, you can't imagine that lawmakers are going to be willing to reduce benefits by that amount that quickly, which means they're going to have to let some more revenues in. They're going to have to do a little of everything, a little more on the revenue side, a little bit on the benefit growth side, and a little bit on the eligibility age side. So there was a simple fix, but there isn't one now.
Well, I'm wondering, I know you're probably loving your time at George Mason, but can you go work in D.C. and help share the wealth of knowledge that you have?
Well, I sometimes joke that I used to try to influence public policy for the better. Now I've been reduced to just saying, I told you so. It's because literally many of us have been warning about this for a very long time, and warning similarly that the problem was going to be very difficult to solve if they delayed. And that, unfortunately, is what is happening right now.
And I think you sound like a parent with teenagers. Maybe that's what all the
told you so.
They're all children there in D.C. apparently, and you're the parent. I told you so. Charles, thank you for your time. We so appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. And we hope you'll join us again. You've been a wealth of knowledge. Thank you. It is a little bit like having a child.
It's a lot. I think every day it's... I told you so.
I told you so.
Come on.
I know, right? And they love to hear that, don't they?
Oh, they love it.
All right, let's go back to some of our World Cup coverage that we have, and let's talk about this story. With all the agreements being made overseas, it kind of couldn't come soon enough because the Iranian team is planning to make their FIFA World Cup debut. The peace deal comes just in time for them, so they'll face off against New Zealand in Los Angeles tonight. And it makes you think, I wonder if that was a part of why it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It is definitely interesting, the timing of it all, for sure, yes.
So interesting, too, they were supposed to, as Danielle and I were just chatting about a few minutes ago, I don't know if you guys heard this, but they were supposed to train in Arizona, and they had some sort of situation with visas and documentation, and they ended up training in Mexico instead. And so now they have went over to Los Angeles, and that is the LA Stadium there in Inglewood, California, and that's where they're going to play New Zealand. And so they trained in Mexico instead of here in Arizona because of some visa complications. And coincidentally, though, they're in LA. They have a very large population of Persians.
They do.
And Iranians.
Yep. Yeah, we saw that when all of the protests were going on. Definitely a lot of people there. So I'm sure they're going to have many people in the stands supporting them. So, and then it says what? If they both finish second in their group, they'll play each other in Arlington, Texas. That's going to happen on July 3rd. So
that's
moving forward,
that would be interesting, right?
It would be very interesting.
And what if you had leadership of one country there and a leadership from our country there? Very interesting. Speaking of World Cup, let's talk about this. Uber apparently is serving up some World Cup perks and a little comfort for the heartbroken fans. If your favorite team gets knocked out of the World Cup, Uber says it'll give you 30% off a future ride.
They're like, here, just take something.
It's basically a discount for the disappointment, I guess you could say. So to participate, you just open the app, pick your team. Hopefully they stick around long enough to keep you cheering, And there's a $7 max discount, and it only applies to one rider per trip, by the way.
Okay.
But,
they should do something on Uber Eats.
That's a great idea.
A free entree.
Something, because that people, isn't it crazy how popular those food apps, delivery apps have been?
Huge. And the amount of money that.
Oh my gosh. It's like
we
$30 for French fries?
I know.
Absolutely not.
Sometimes you just need it, though.
That's true.
Sometimes at $30 for French fries just hits a little different.
It does. Okay, let's talk about the Knicks. Did you ever watch some of this?
No, I just saw all of this, but wow. I remember being in high school, and there was a kid in my high school who was obsessed with the Knicks. Obsessed. And he just, all of his clothing was Knicks. Everything was Knicks.
Here? Wait, no, in Vegas.
This was in Vegas, yeah. And so I was definitely like thinking about, I was like, finally that kid. Finally that kid. He got it.
Maybe on Facebook you should find him. You're like, hey, I'm so happy for you.
Congrats. He's gonna be like, who are you?
Oh my goodness. Well, it has been a long time. That was the thing.
Yes.
And I think that's why you saw this is crazy video that has been trending all over social media. But this is why people reacted in this way. But flames and protests.
I never understand this, though. I really don't. Your team just won. You're happy.
Yes.
And this is the reaction. I've never understood I don't even know what you call this. Are you celebrating?
Outrage? I don't know.
Let's burn our city down.
But you had these people climbing streetlights.
I don't know.
Shooting fireworks. You saw the fire. It was a bus set on fire.
Yeah, but why? You should be happy and
know.
Celebrating and keeping your city beautiful and gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, they did have fireworks, I guess, but yeah, look at this image right here. This is crazy.
They're probably illegal, but I mean, they're pretty, right?
As long as they're not over a forest in the summer, you know.
I know.
Long-awaited victory moment we're celebrating. There's an official parade set for Thursday that will probably not include climbing streetlights or setting fires.
Yeah. And what is this? They haven't won an NBA title since 1973.
Wow. So it's all that pent-up frustration.
It is. Go Knicks.
Here is your mystery camera. And we love that so many of you are already chiming in on where this could be. Throw your guesses in the chat, and we'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back, everyone. You are looking live at our mystery camera this morning, and it looks very official, Danielle.
It looks very governmental. I don't know. I can't tell what is that kind of like an amphitheater?
Oh,
maybe?
yeah. I think you're right, like a park.
But then it almost kind of looked like a fountain, like something would go down, like that's a drain there in the middle. So I'm like, maybe that's a really big fountain in front of a government building.
Like a splash pad?
Yes.
Maybe the government
Where's
needs
the
a
kids?
splash pad.
Maybe. Or a dunk tank.
Maybe during their breaks they go out to the splash pad and the duck tank. Is that what you see to the left of the little amphitheater? Is that like a deer statue or something?
I think that's a bench.
A goat? Oh, it is a bench. All right, I know.
But it's a really cute bench.
We're too much for you guys. Thank you for the hearts, by the way.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, do I do this now?
Okay, let's read off some of the guesses. Do you want to go?
Okay, yeah. So we have North Dakota, Missouri, South Dakota, Ohio, another North Dakota, Tennessee, let's see, Kentucky. We have another North Dakota,
Wow.
Texas, Vermont. Yeah, I guess.
What are you going to go with, Danielle?
It's definitely not Fargo, I don't think.
Because you worked there.
I lived in Fargo, North Dakota, and that does not look familiar to me at all. So it could be Bismarck, Williston. I don't know.
By the way, when you
Look, everyone's saying North Dakota.
when you got your first gig
boy.
in North Dakota,
Yeah.
were you like,
Crying?
I got it?
Yes, the tears were flowing.
Were you like, oh my gosh, I guess I got to take it. Like for those of you who don't, when you get your first gig in TV, like you're just praying for a job at that point, and you just take it.
Yeah, and it was a really funny story because I graduated from UNLV in Las Vegas, where I'm from, and I had a professor who all he talked about was working in radio in Fargo, North Dakota. And all of us are like, where the heck is, why are you talking about Fargo? Like, where is this place? And of course, I sent my resume tapes out to literally everywhere you can think of. And the first person that got back to me, Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, and you were like,
and
I'll
I was
take
like,
it.
I got to go. And my dad called the news director at the station in Las Vegas that I was interning at. And he's like, is this legit? Does she really have to go? You're not going to offer my daughter a job in Las Vegas? And he's like, nope, she's got to go.
I love that your dad stepped in.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you did what, Dad? You called the news director?
Did that.
He's like, I didn't believe you. I didn't think this was a thing. But
well, it is. It is.
Yeah. See, everybody's saying North Dakota. I don't know where this is in North Dakota. If this is North Dakota, I'll be shocked.
Okay,
if it's Fargo, at least.
What are you going to go with?
I guess North Dakota. I mean, I'm going to go with the crowd.
I'll go with South Dakota.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
So let's go. We're going to give you the big reveal.
Oh. It is Kentucky. Hopkinsville.
Hopkinsville,
So who had Kentucky? Oh, can we go up? Is that
Here, let me see if I can.
somebody did have Kentucky.
We had a Tennessee, which RLS Vids, you were very, very
there's
close.
Kentucky.
Yes.
Outlaw
Dynamite.
There
yes.
you go. Good job, Outlaw.
Good job.
You are the winner.
Yes. Okay, well, they're in Kentucky. They must like their splash pad.
Yeah.
So once in a while, probably
it's very humid
venture
there.
on out. Let's go talk about this next story here. We're talking about tipping expectations.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on tipping expectations, Danielle?
I feel like they've gotten
is a safe space, by the way.
outrageous. And I am actually a great tipper. I do not mind tipping somebody for good service. But I mean, if I'm going and there's, let's say the drink thing and I'm getting my own drink myself.
Yeah.
Why am I tipping? It's just gotten outrageous.
If you're ordering at the counter, and you're picking up your food at the counter, and then you're filling your own water or soda or something, the majority of Americans, though, there's a brand new study. Give us your thoughts in the chat if you don't mind. Your thoughts on tipping. If there's a certain percentage that you tip all the time. I know, Danielle, you worked your way through college. I did as well. And I survived on tips when I was serving tables. And it really helped me pay my way through college. But I will say we didn't have these automatic 20s, automatic 22%.
But it's also for... It used to be just the service industries, right? The typical, your waitress, your bartender, your hair person, your, service provider.
Yes.
But, there's even things now where it's, I don't even know.
I know.
I'm trying to think of an example that happened recently. I mean, obviously the coffee shops and all that stuff.
Look at Dave Brousseau. He says, I always do 20%. Good for you.
Seriously.
Thomas Favela says at all-you-can-eat buffet, ? Yeah, do you, I think you do tip
For
if
that,
they're cleaning
I would
up
tip,
the tables.
yeah, because then they do bring you your drinks.
Yes.
But I also think, if somebody is not a good server,
yeah,
it's you know?
It's hard.
But then if somebody's a great server, I'm like, yes.
I know.
Take my money.
So listen to this. 78% of people surveyed said that tipping expectations are out of control. 78%. Others reported noticing restaurants raising suggested gratuity amounts on digital payment screens. Like sometimes it'll say 25% on that one, you know? And so here's a couple of the other comments. RLS Vid says tipping by percentage is ridiculous. Cost of goods has no bearing on service. Burger Boy 25 says tips come from service. If service is good, big tip. Crap service, crap tip. And I think that's kind of, that's kind of like even though it says it on the automatic digital screen,
right?
You have to live by your own rules at that point, right?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I feel like every single industry is asking for tips now. So I guess if I go to a store and I do a good job, I'm going to ask, hey, can I have a tip?
Hey, I'm doing a live shot here.
Here's my tip jar. No, it's like I said, good people, good service. I do not mind paying. I think it's, you know, people are earning their money. They deserve it. But just the run of the mill, not doing really anything, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, and Burger Boy says, I will tip $20 plus on good service. As a chef, I've seen it all. All right, good for you.
Yeah.
Let's chat with this morning with Eric at TMZ. And Eric, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. What's your tipping rule?
Was that?
What's your tipping rule?
I can't really hear you. You're coming in from like a weird audio source. It's not like directly in my ear, unfortunately.
Okay, hold on one second.
Oh, stand by.
We're going to adjust.
It's fixed.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
What's your tipping rule?
My tipping rule? I mean, I start at 20%. If I really like you, I go higher. It depends like how far you're coming. If it's like a delivery, if it's a restaurant thing, you know, you go a little higher based on how you vibe with them, right?
Okay.
How high have you gotten? How high have you tipped?
I tipped $50 for an Uber Eats for Applebee's because there's no Applebee's in LA and I was really craving Applebee's, so I got it from like 11 miles away.
Oh my gosh, good for you, Eric.
I feel like that balanced out.
What did you get at Applebee's?
I was craving some Applebee's chicken tenders, you know, late night, it was the weekend, you know, let my hair down.
I can smell college right now. We went to Applebee's all the time. Oh my goodness.
So good. All right, we are chatting with you this morning. It's good to see you, my friend, but over kind of a sad story, really. Yeah. What happened here?
So yeah, Oliver Tree, famous musician and comedian, passed away this weekend in a helicopter crash in Brazil. It appears that there were two helicopters traveling together that collided midair and then just came down very quickly. 6 people between both helicopters, and all of them unfortunately perished in the crash. It's unclear how they crashed, what caused it, if there were any technical issues or if it was just, you know, the pilot error or anything like that. We're still waiting on those details, but yeah, unfortunately, a very bright talent and somebody that, you know, we're seeing a lot of people speaking out, obviously, in memory of him, and no one has said a bad thing about him. Everyone is very upset about this, and it was a very tragic and sudden loss.
Oh man, and that's the video coming in. It is heartbreaking, my goodness.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah, they crashed into an electric car lot, I guess, and yeah, you can see the destruction there.
You know, those are the
explosion.
And the electric cars, the fire does not go out quickly.
Yeah, I mean the giant batteries on them, so that probably kept burning for a while.
Yeah, the other headline you guys have and you're working on is James Harden. You know, he played basketball at Arizona State University. What happened in this case?
Yeah, so James Harden was driving and he was stopped for a traffic stop, just routine traffic stop, but he had a gun on his passenger seat and it wasn't in a holster. So he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor unlawful carrying of a weapon. He was released on a $100 bond. There's his mugshot. So it's nothing too crazy. It's unclear if he has, you know, a permit for the gun or not. But I assume he does, seeing how the charges were just an unlawful carrying of the weapon. It wasn't in a holster. Was the main reason for the charge. But the Cavs are looking into this, and he was released on a $100 bond.
Did it say why he was initially pulled over?
It was a traffic stop. No, we don't know exactly what the traffic stop was for.
Interesting.
You know, I know this isn't one of our topics, but I want to ask you, do you watch Love Island?
I you know, get the auxiliary conversations and things in here, but I'm not an avid fan. I'm a Big Brother guy. Big Brother starting soon.
Oh, I I love that. I
my
love
reality
that.
show.
Okay, we were just talking about this because I do watch Love Island, but
And I don't. So
Danielle
Celeste is
doesn't.
filling me in.
But
Okay.
I want to get your thoughts on this. This is a crazy story. So there's a driver here in Arizona, and they were caught going 108 miles per hour on the freeway, and this is what she told the officer. She said she was going more than 100 miles an hour, and her excuse was because she had to get home to watch Love Island because they had just released a brand new show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to admit that to a cop for sure. There's definitely other, I feel like, excuses you can get out of it. My go-to is the toilet. You know, it was either destroy my car or break the speed limit. So, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah, as Tommy Boy said. Was it Tommy Boy?
Bees. Bees. I like your excuse, though, the toilet.
I mean, you got to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I mean,
I've been in a situation where I was like, my car gas light is blinking, but so is my body light blinking, and it's like, what do I adhere to first? So
You better get on home.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just pull over and find a bush. Then you save gas and you get taken care of.
Oh, no. And you get rid
can't
of the
trust gas
gas.
station bathrooms though, so it's
You
hit or miss.
can't. Well, and here's the thing: how many gas stations have you been to where it's like, oh, sorry, no public restroom,
Yeah,
right?
you got to get the key, and you have to purchase something. It's
And then
like,
they're out of TP. It's like there's no TP. Like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I feel like it's more common that they're disgusting than that they're just open for the public.
yeah.
I
Good call. Good call.
Well, Eric, we're glad that you're going to watch Big Brother, and we thank you for
Yes.
your thoughts on the
don't
Love Island
speed
story.
home
Yes.
to watch it.
All right, buddy.
No, I won't.
Have a great day.
You too. Talk to you guys later.
Let me just give you a few bits here of information on this
That
story.
is crazy.
So she-
108. I mean, you can see the
108,
speed gun right
Danielle.
there. Oh my gosh.
So she was arrested. She's facing charges for criminal speeding and reckless driving. So whatever you do not speed home. Hey, guess what? It's streaming. So you can watch it at any time.
Anytime. Welcome
not-
to 2026,
Oh,
folks.
brother.
What a time.
All right, we're going to show you another beautiful shot at a great city here in the country. And thank you for the hearts and the laughs and all the likes and your thoughts in the chat. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is a beautiful shot here around the nation. And Joshua Tovar, good morning to you. Be kind forever. Nice to see you on this Monday morning. And Linda Monter said, blessed day, Nick. I wonder if Nick is checking out here. He's got to make some burgers. He says, remember to eat healthy and stay safe out there. We love hearing your guys' thoughts out here in the chat and the digital world.
I do like this one right here. Get a DVR, save a life.
I know. And everybody's like, what is a DVR? Remember when TiVo was like a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a thing. All right, we're going to have a couple of talkers here left for you. Let's go to this story right here, and we're talking about divorce rings. Yeah, you heard me right. Divorce rings.
Okay.
There's a new trend growing for women who are divorced, and it's a cheeky way to celebrate. Apparently, they're getting rings to celebrate their divorce.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
A little interesting.
It is a little different, right?
I mean, I guess you just buy yourself a ring, which is...
And you're just gifting
You're just gifting yourself
You're
a
gifting
ring,
yourself some
so-
jewelry. Emily Radikowski says she got one after her 2024 divorce.
Okay.
And she put it on her middle finger.
Ooh.
That actually would be very cute, right? I like that. The main goal is to find some joy in a difficult time, she says. And by the way, Krystal is joining us as well. I'm going to open up your mic, Krystal.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah.
I wonder, too, though, if you have your original ring and, who knows if he gets it back or what, but, there's so much controversy around
Yeah.
that. But if you have it and it's a beautiful diamond, you can turn it into like a different ring. So it's not, so it doesn't go to waste.
So I actually have a story on this. My husband and I were engaged twice. And I think we just have this shot. Do we have a 3 shot, Neil?
3.
Oh, camera 3. It says 3 shot on there. Anyways, we'll just go with this shot here.
Let's not leave me up by myself. Let's switch it.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, that's okay. We'll just go with that.
Wait, is this a new background? Sorry, real quick.
I think
this,
we're
like,
just
white.
We're just having fun with it.
Oh, okay.
So let's just go ahead and keep talking.
I think
Neil, if you want to All right, we're gonna do this.
Put some music to
Neil,
it, like,
we'll leave it right here. So my husband and I, we were engaged twice. We dated for 7 years on and off because I was moving around with work and everything. You ladies know what that's like.
Yep.
Different cities working. And then he proposed once. We broke up. And then when he proposed the second time, he took the ring and recreated a new set.
Okay.
So he we used the same diamond.
Oh, okay.
But a new setting.
Yeah.
And a different band, and then there was another band that was like a family heirloom. But I feel like you mentioned, like you can do something different with it.
Totally.
Even if you're in a situation like that.
Yep.
You know? Or
I think you can always, so many people take it and make a new setting. I've seen women make a necklace out of it. 'cause
Yeah,
it's like it's a beautiful diamond.
It really is.
Why let it go to waste? Or I guess you can pawn it if you're that mad.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want it.
Every time you look at it, you think of him and you're seeing red.
Yeah, pawn shops. Oh, yeah, see, it says Phoenix pawn shops are full of divorce rings. There you go.
There you go, Joshua Tovar. Joshua, how do you know this? And yes, we are the 3 friends, Thomas Favela, absolutely. And Outlaw Dynamo, thank you so much for the reminder. Don't forget that Sunday is Father's Day. Our papas are just as important as our mamas to our kiddos and our families. So important. Just one quick story here, and then we'll get right to Krystal. We're going to talk about the box office. Steven Spielberg is back on top of the box office with his first summer blockbuster in a decade, 10 years. Since he's put something together. New sci-fi thriller, Disclosure Day. It actually includes, it takes you to a newsroom, and this gal's like taken over by aliens.
Krystal, is there anything you want to tell us?
I was off for a whole week last week. Whatever cold I had felt like I was taken over by aliens, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, my goodness. That was perfect because it's going to lead us right into Krystal, actually. Oh, wait, that's Danielle.
I mean, these folks are like, get that girl off the screen already.
The buttons are mislabeled, but that's okay because what's important
is Krystal.
Is the information that Krystal's going to bring us.
The monsoon season has begun, guys.
Yes.
So I'm so excited because the whole weather team put together a really awesome special that is airing tonight, and we'll get to I think that in a moment. But let's just walk through the details because the graphic's up. But the monsoon season starts June 15th. It lasts through September 30th. So we've got a few months ahead of us, as we know, where we're officially in the season. Now, I think it was back in like 08 or so. So it's a while ago they decided to make an official season. out of the monsoon, meaning the same way there's a hurricane season, there is a monsoon season. It starts June 15th, it ends on the 30th. But the old way, if you're like OG Arizona, and if you've been here a long time, you know, the old way that it was defined as starting each year for the valley was when we had 3 consecutive days with dew point temperatures that averaged out to 55 degrees or higher, because that's the point at which for the valley it gets easier for us to start to see shower and thunderstorm development. Now, dew point temperature is a measurement of moisture in the air, so you want that moisture to go up for it to be a good indicator that the monsoon pattern has set and that moisture is coming up from the south and into the state of Arizona. So I did a little checking. Yesterday we did average a dew point that was over 55. Today so far we are averaging over 55, but 2 days ago we were not at 55 plus, and by tomorrow I'm not convinced we will be either. So technically in the old way we may not quite yet be in the pattern fully forming, but we definitely got an early taste this morning.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Did you see some rain this morning when you were out, Danielle?
And lightning a lot.
Yeah, a lot
but
of
I was
lightning.
mentioning right when I opened my front door to leave for work, it just instantly hit me, the humidity, because obviously you're coming from, you know, full air conditioning, and I was like, whoa, that is humid. Yeah.
When I
And
stepped
not
out of my
just that,
car,
but like when I jumped in the car to come to work this morning, there were already sprinkles on my windshield, and then as I'm driving, there was more rain, but it was sunny. And it's very unique for Arizona. We get sun and rain at the same time.
that is the way of the monsoon. That's what makes actually forecasting storms during the monsoon season so difficult, is because unlike most of the country, when you have a area of low pressure, a storm system roll through, or a cold front roll through, and you could say, okay, it's going to roll through from time A to time B, and pretty much everywhere under the influence of this is going to get rain, or at least some rain. With monsoon storms, it's more of the pattern setup is allowing for us to get moisture that comes up from 2 different actual locations. So I'll show you guys in a second a map I have, but you get moisture pulling in from the Gulf, you get moisture pulling in from the southwest of us over the Baja and the Pacific Ocean, and that moisture plume kind of settles in place. That's that dew point temperature measurement we're watching. And then with the moisture in place, you're waiting for triggers for those storms. So it takes a very fine eye to catch on our models and on our data, on our surface readings, where are the triggers to create those storms. And it's never everywhere. It's never everywhere. A lot of times it starts in the higher elevations because it's easier for storms to lift up the mountainside. You get like a little assist, I call it, from the mountain elevation. And then if they're strong enough, you get the outflows of those storms that run down the mountainsides and into the valley. Or you get a good strong cluster down in southeastern Arizona, as we know, down near like Tucson. And same thing, if they're strong enough, the outflow will kick up dust and storms that run into the valley as well. So it's much more difficult, honestly, having forecast all over the country at this point in my career. Monsoon forecasting is extremely difficult because of that.
Yeah, it is. There was a couple, I think it was 3 years ago, maybe during this summer, I was filling in for Christina at night working with John.
Yeah.
And Corey was off as well.
Okay.
And we had a big monsoon storm that moved through, and I remember we killed all the rundowns, and it was just John and I talking over maps and live video and tower cams for the entire hour of the show. And it does make it very I will say, from like a news perspective, and for all of you in the chat, let us know if you've received rain and your thoughts on the monsoon and what your favorite part of it is. But I think that it makes it is a bit exciting because we don't get living in the desert.
This is our rainy season.
This is our rainy season.
If it's a good monsoon season.
Right.
And good being flexible. I always hope as a meteorologist that we have an awesome monsoon season, and I define it awesome as we get a lot of rain, we get some cool lightning, but we don't have any deaths, and we don't have too much destruction. It's almost impossible during the monsoon season to not have some destruction, unfortunately, with the strong winds that we end up seeing, with hail that we end up seeing often. But I always hope that people can heed the advice of not driving through the flooded roadways, to paying attention if we've got a thick dust storm moving through, so you're not caught on like a highway. Interstate 10 ends up being a real crash zone. And these are some of the things that we're going to talk about in our monsoon special, guys. So that airs tonight at 6:30 on Fox 10. But I think starting at noon, it's available on Fox Local, and it's available on our YouTube streaming channel. So it's a half-hour special. The whole weather team's in on it. So we've got Erica, Ashley, Corey, myself. Obi was our director, leading the way and making sure that we, putting everything together.
Yeah.
And we're diving into a bunch of different stuff. The new dust storm scale, Erica's got that covered. We're doing some really cool new augmented reality graphics that incorporate some AI into them as well. well.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to be enjoy it and hopefully learn some stuff from it as well.
And what a great day to kick it off.
Right on the start of the monsoon season. We had storms in the morning. We could have more storms later today as well for folks. I think, who was it?
Dave Rousseau says he got a sprinkle literally here by South Mountain this morning.
Was it Lisa also said in Safford that she saw some?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes,
Linda Montour.
Linda.
Yeah.
So we already had some this morning, but we've got the chance for additional shower and thunderstorm activity as we go into later this afternoon. Do you guys have someone else going on, or do we still have a few minutes to
No,
talk?
we have a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Pop up my graphics, and I'll walk through that part of the...
Let me just mention while you're...
Oh, yeah.
we're getting ready for that. Let me mention a couple of you. Thomas Favola says his favorite part is the creosote stench.
Oh, yeah. It smells so good.
And then Joshua Tovar says monsoon season is my favorite time of year. Thomas Favola also says Picacho Peak winds, thunder and lightning, love it, RLS vids. Although Dave Rousseau says, I hate the dirt blowing with no rain, which I think
agree.
is something that when we don't have a very wet monsoon, that's unfortunately what we see.
Yeah.
It just feels gross.
The
and
dust without the rain, no thank you.
No bueno.
No, thank you. There's a look at the dew point temperatures, guys. So like I mentioned earlier, once we're at like 50, you start to notice it in the air. If you hit 60, that is humid even by the standards, I would say, of like, a good portion of the country. So for us, 50, a lot of the country would be like, okay, who cares about 50? But for us, that is a good indicator we're starting to see moisture. So we're at 60 right now. And then this is the pattern that we're hoping to build to. We're not quite here yet, but this is really how the monsoon takes shape when it leads to a strong monsoon season for us. Doma high pressure builds, we call it the monsoon high, up near like the Four Corners area, grabs moisture from the Gulf. And at the same time, what's called a thermal low. This sets up because of the warm land compared to the cooler ocean waters. So that discrepancy creates a wind flow that pushes more moisture, more at the low levels from both the Baja and the Pacific, also into Arizona. So we're parked between those two, and think of it as like, a hand mixer. The beaters are going in opposite directions. We're in between the beaters, so we're right in that kind of like escalated area where you're seeing the atmosphere whipped up enough so that you can get more storm action. So that's kind of the perfect scenario that we're hoping for, and we do have that chance for a few storms as we go into this evening, guys. So that's what we'll be watching for, is if we can get some of that storm action in the valley and in the high country. I would say in the valley, especially between like 5 and 8, looks like the best window for us.
Okay. All right, great. A couple of last comments for you this morning. Be Kind Forever says, I love the cicadas.
The noise.
Yeah, the cicadas.
I don't like the little mults they leave behind. It grosses me out.
Linda Montour says, monsoons, yes. Non-soons, no. Crystal, thank you so much. Great information.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
6:30 tonight, everyone, right here on Fox 10.
All right, here's a quick glance here, and Anita and Ty are coming up next at 11 o'clock. Thank you for watching. Have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome in.
Happy Monday, everybody. It is 11 o'clock. We're going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10 Talks, and we have a
Jam-packed show.
jam-packed show.
Some very important topics.
We need to get T-shirts made.
I think, or a hat. A hat, maybe, because if you have a T-shirt, you can't quite see.
We should do like JPS, Jam-packed show.
I like that.
All right. Dave?
Let us know what
Dave,
your
get those
thoughts are,
made?
folks at home.
All right. They're being made as we speak.
If you're at home and you would like us to make jam-packed show T-shirts or hats or
maybe we can sell them ourselves and we can retire early.
Oh, that is brilliant.
I like this.
We already have a dating app that we Late in Love, Late in Life Love.
Yeah.
And then we're going to sell T-shirts and hats.
There you go.
Our boss is really thrilled. I'm sure he's watching and thinking, woohoo.
All right, you guys. Well, we do have a jam-packed show for you, and we're going to start with some pretty important topics on this Monday. We have James E. Lee, who is standing by here this morning. He is the president of the Identity Theft Resource Center. Good morning, Mr. Lee. Good to see you.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are doing great. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us this morning because this is such an important topic. We had you on our morning show last week because we were talking about that Carnival Cruise Line breach. Let's start with that if we can and talk about if folks get those dreaded emails that say your personal information has been compromised. What are you supposed to do?
Well, with this particular breach, when we're talking about Carnival Cruise Lines, there's a little bit different than what you would normally do, and that's because you have to be on the lookout for people now trying to say, oh, hey, your travel reservation has been changed, or I need you to confirm a travel reservation. You may or may not have made one, but they're going to try to get you to go ahead and say, oh, maybe you do have one, and you have to validate that reservation. So you're going to get inundated with all kinds of spam and attempts to force you to confirm a reservation so they can get your credit card number.
Yes, it is.
Or they can get your passport. You can get your driver's license. They want all manner of information from you. And this is a great excuse, especially this time of the year when people are beginning to travel for the summer. It's a great excuse for them to go ahead and steal more of your personal information.
Overall, in general, I'm not just with this data breach, but I feel like we get so many emails now. I get them from like PayPal. I don't have a PayPal account, but it'll be an email saying, thank you so much for your order of $535 for XYZ. And every time I get one, I panic and I send it to my husband. He's like, it's a scam. Relax. Don't click on anything. But people don't necessarily know not to click. They're so good.
They are. They're very believable now, more so than they ever have been. And that's thanks to AI. Not only can they make it look real, they make it sound real because they have AI writing the actual sort of script, if you will, of what it is they're supposed to do and say. So those emails you get, those texts you get, and if you get a phone call, they're all so much more realistic than they ever have been. And that's the problem, is we can't tell anymore whether what's real and what's not. We can't trust our eyes. So now we have to kind of change what we've always said, which was, go to the source and verify that. That's still good information, but being able to look at something and say, the bad grammar, the bad spelling, the fuzzy logo, that doesn't work anymore.
Is there a population who you would say is more vulnerable than others, whether it's people, above 80, people, teens? Everyone's getting these. I guess they're getting targeted.
Everybody is targeted. If you have a pulse, you're a target.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to surprise you a little bit here. The people who are most vulnerable to attacks are actually younger people. People who are 30 and younger are attacked more frequently and fall victim more frequently than older people. Now, older people lose more money. That's because we've lived longer. We have more resources. But so if we are attacked and we fall victim, there tends to be a higher loss. But just sheer volume of people falling for scams and fraud and identity theft, it's actually younger people. But everybody is a target.
James, you had some great tips when we talked to you about easy things that are free that we can do right now to kind of protect ourselves from having our identity stolen. Can you walk through those, like some of the biggest ones that folks need to do?
Yeah, the biggest one is freeze your credit. Even if you think you're going to use your credit, it is so easy to thaw it and then refreeze it than it ever has been. And that's free. It only takes a couple of minutes to freeze it. It only takes a couple of minutes to thaw it. And you can use your credit again and then refreeze it. Right? Why is that important? Because freezing your credit is the only thing you can do to actually stop something from happening. Credit monitoring is great, but it tells you what happened. Freezing your credit actually stops someone from being able to open up an account with your information that involves your credit. And it can be other kinds of information too, for background checks, for insurance. There are other types of freezes you can also put in place. And so it's really important that you freeze your credit and freeze the other kinds of information when you can.
How do you freeze that? And then how long are you freezing for? Sorry.
So if you're freezing your credit, it's frozen until you thaw it. It is frozen and for all time until you take that off, whether permanently or temporarily. But again, you can do it online or you can do it by the phone very easily, very quickly, with no cost and no impact to your credit score. A lot of people think that impacts your credit score. It does not. Okay. And it stops people from impersonating you.
Okay. But you do need to go to all three of like the credit recording companies, right, to freeze and unfreeze?
Yeah. Okay. Each one has their own little process. So yeah, you have to go to Experian, to Equifax, and to TransUnion. Okay. But it's easy today. Okay. It used to be hard, and it used to be expensive. Not anymore.
Okay.
So that was point number one, and then you had two other things you could do that are free, and that will help people.
Yeah, free. You can check your own credit. You can do it once a week now. And same situation where you used to have to pay for that, and it was limited into a couple of times a year. Now you can do it every week if you want to. And that's a way that you can monitor your credit to see if anybody has opened up any new accounts that you don't know about, or is using an existing account in a way you don't know about. So that's free, and that's important.
Okay.
The other free thing is make sure you're not reusing passwords. And in fact, you should move from passwords to something called passkeys. You've probably already seen that, where you are asked, do you want to set up a passkey? And when you see that, you want to say yes. And here's why. Unlike a password, they can be compromised. You can actually give it to somebody, or if they get a hold of your device, or your phone, your tablet, your laptop, they can steal that password from you. And if there's a data breach at a company where you have a password, it can be stolen there in a data breach. But with a passkey, it's fundamentally different technology. It's nothing you have to remember. You never see the code, and it's never stored at where the account is. So it can be compromised in a data breach, and you can't self-compromise if you accidentally click on something or if you accidentally give it away to somebody who turns out to be a scammer. So passkeys are very important, and they are free.
Okay, James, can we circle back real quick? You said to get your credit report and check it to make sure that there's nothing that looks weird, out of the ordinary. My question is, if you do see something, who do you call to get more information about what that is and and then what's the process of getting that removed from your credit report? Because I know that can be difficult as well.
Yeah, great question, because it can be very difficult sometimes, especially if it's involving like a child. If your child's identity has been stolen and now all of a sudden they have a credit report, it is kind of a difficult process. So the first thing you do is you contact your financial institution wherever that account is. So if it's a bank account, a credit card account, contact them and make sure they're aware that you believe you've been compromised.
Okay. James, we're getting
Contact the credit bureau.
Contact credit bureau. We're getting some comments in the chat about credit cards versus debit cards. Is there one that's better than the other? My husband is constantly telling me, don't use the debit card. Put things on the credit card because it's easier to be You'll be better protected and easier to fight it that way.
It is better to use a credit card because either under federal law, there's a limit. If you report fraud within a certain number of days, your amount of loss is capped. But A lot of banks, though, will also honor that same kind of process for debit cards. So it's important for you to check with your own bank who issued the debit card. What do you do if there's fraud on my debit card? Because a lot of times they'll do the same thing for credit cards and debit cards, but you don't have the legal protection that you do with a credit card.
Some great tips, James. If folks wanted to reach out to you or find more information, how can they find you?
Easiest way to contact us, and we certainly hope you do if you have any questions or if you've become a victim, is idtheftcenter.org. And you can find our phone number there, but you can also live chat with us because not everybody wants to talk on the phone these days. Or you can text to chat with us. All that is right there on that website, idtheftcenter.org.
Right. Great info. Thank
really
you so much. We'll have you back on again soon if you don't mind.
Anytime. Happy to help.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great rest of your Monday. Some good tips there, right?
We had an issue where we thought we had a fraudulent purchase or charge on my debit card, which it turned out once we figured everything out, it was
that
fine.
you actually paid. You actually were the one that was spending the money?
Correct. But with my husband's permission. But it wasn't anything major, but it was an ATM, and we never use ATMs. And, regardless, though, that's when he's like, stop using the debit card, use the credit card, because it's always easier to get that information. And honestly, the bank wouldn't reverse the charge. And they said we'd have to get a police report and you'd have to go back to the store. And then we called the store and then we said, do you have cameras? And they're like, we need a police report. There was a lot to go through it. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
That's something I constantly worry about.
Yeah, you have to, right? All right, well, our next guest is kind of in the same vein here this morning. We are talking to Chris. He is the CEO of a cybersecurity film called Vigilant, and because this is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
We have to take a break. Do you want to take him after the break?
I'm so sorry. We do. Yeah. I didn't even realize.
We'll
I'm
be
just
back, you guys, in 2.5.
All right.
Okay.
We'll leave you with a beautiful shot of downtown Phoenix on this Monday. Quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, you guys. We were introing our next guest, Chris, because this is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and we're kind of talking about AI and how these scammers out there are getting very smart with using AI to get these folks money.
You know, and one thing that our last guest, hello, Ryan, so glad that you're joining
Chris.
us. Thank you. I'm
Chris.
sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's Monday,
No
Chris. See how easily they can scam me right now. Our last guest was a expert in identity theft, and I asked him, I don't know if you could hear any of it, I asked him, is there one group, one population group of, that's targeted more than others? Surprisingly, he said anyone 30 and younger is targeted by a lot of these identity thefts. What is it with the AI, and how is it that they're scamming the elderly?
Yeah, so with the elderly, now I would actually say that the age groups are two groups, right? So it's that 30 or younger. I would even knock it down into the 20s, a little lower. And then you have your 60 or above. And the reason that the elderly, or just anyone, and I'm not saying 60 or above is elderly, but just anyone 60 above is attacked primarily is because their generation grew up on trust. Mm-hmm. They grew up on interpersonal communication. And so when you look at identity theft, when it happens in that younger realm, it's all identity theft that's mostly digitally based first. When you look at identity theft or just theft in general, when it's digital, it starts in a personal communication first. It's a phone call. It's some sort of interpersonal, real communication. That's what equates trust to them, and then it moves into the digital realm after that. And it actually, I would even say, it accelerates into the digital world, and it creates chaos for them because it's something they're not used to, and they just don't question it because they got trust first.
Chris, you sent over your press release, and I was really shocked by this number. You said in 2025, seniors lost $352 million to AI scams, and this is from the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center annual report. That is a huge number.
Yeah, that's a huge number, and I would actually, so that's what's documented. I think that number is 3 to 4 times that in reality. And the reason for that is, think about that our parents' age, right? Or beyond. When they get scammed, they feel afraid, they feel nervous, they're embarrassed, and many of them don't say anything about it. A good friend of mine, his mother-in-law, her husband passed away. 3 weeks later, someone called her impersonating her bank. They were able to transfer, which we can talk about this if you want to know how that happened, but they transferred $250,000 out of her bank accounts, posing as the bank, trying to say, hey, we're trying to consolidate these accounts for you. We're trying to consolidate these accounts for you.
Play video.
Yeah, we're trying to, sorry,
You're fine.
My video messed up.
We're going to play some video for you.
Yeah, trying to consolidate a attack against them, stole $200,000, and then once they stole that $200,000, they called back 3 weeks later and did it again. During that first time, she had revealed that to my friend that this had happened. The second one, she didn't reveal.
Because she was embarrassed because she got caught one. So quickly, if you can, explain then, how did they do it, and how did they even find out her husband passed away, and how do we avoid becoming victim to that?
Yeah. Right. Sorry for that noise. My son walked right in.
No, you know what?
You're fine.
Dude, what are you doing?
We're streaming. This is all about fun. We're laid back and chill.
You can bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in.
It's no problem. We're a family show. We're a family show.
What are you doing? Thanks. I'm like, get out. So anyway,
play some video, Ty. Play some video.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So what happened in this case is her husband dies, right? The obituary shows up. Scammers scan the internet for these obituaries, and then they just pop up. Now, to understand the attacker, you have to understand what they're made of, right? So you have these businesses all over the world, organized crime in the United States, you have actual brick and mortar businesses around the world. And what these businesses do is they have CFOs, they have CEOs, they have psychologists on their staff, they have customer service reps. They're a real company. And they're constantly studying the personas of the people they're attacking and the way they think. And so what they did in this case was they knew she was in grief. right? They do it within this 3 to 4 week section. They do it after about 2 weeks because that's when everybody stops calling you, right? And they stop bringing you food. So you start to feel alone again. And you're vulnerable in your mind more. So that's what happened. They found out the obituary. They got on. They called her. They said, hey, we're with your bank. They were able to figure out which bank she banked at. I think it was just a guess. And they basically said, hey, we need to consolidate these accounts. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time to be able to have access to that money.
Oh, scary.
And they cited, right. And so what they do is they try to create this, hey, we care about you. We're sorry your husband died. Then they try to create this, we care about you. We want to consolidate these accounts.
They're playing on the emotions. Yeah, they're playing on the emotions. Right. Chris, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
So they can get a hold of me on LinkedIn, Chris Nyhuis out on LinkedIn. They can hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, same thing. Just look for Chris Nyhuis. We talk a lot about these types of things that happen out there, and because it's so prevalent in the way that these things take place. But if the biggest thing I can tell people is just to slow down, right? Sure. If you get a phone call, they're trying to create chaos. Slow down. Make sure that you don't transfer money over the phone. Yeah. Make sure that you have safe words with your family, things like that. Around how to take care of this money.
Well, we really appreciate you, and we'll make sure that info gets up, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Got it. We'll see you later.
Have a good one. Tell your son we said hi.
Yeah.
I will.
Have a good one, Chris.
Okay, because it's a jam-packed show, we're totally switching gears.
We are. I'm excited about this next one.
Full ride. Here's the headline. Advice from sorority girls.
There's one.
Full ride, wild Las Vegas story with celebs.
We've got Night Cart Confessions, CEO, entrepreneur, startup. We got Ryan O'Connor joining us in studio this morning. Ryan, good morning.
How's it going?
We're doing good. All right, let's start. I'm going to play some video and just kind of walk us through what you do. Because I remember as a kid, I used to try and stay up late and watch, what was that show?
Taxi Cab Confessions.
Correct.
This is kind of like a modern day take on this. So what exactly are we watching?
So it's basically, like you said, Taxi Cab Confessions, where it's where I got the idea from. Old Town Scottsdale is a crazy place if you've ever been out there partying.
It's like the hottest party place. Yeah. So do you drive that golf cart for a living, or are you just going out there giving people rides for content?
Yeah, so sorry, this is...
No, you're doing great.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
There's no rules except for no swearing.
I'm sorry. You talk to strange people who leave Arizona with matching tattoos.
I know, but now I got lights in my face. This is crazy.
Okay. So this is...
But yes, so I drive a golf cart in Old Town Scottsdale, do it for a living, and because people are so crazy out drinking and having fun, I thought, why not grab my camera, grab a microphone, and just record everything that flies out of their mouth.
A lot of stuff.
We have a clip. We're going to play a clip. And this is a safe clip, right? There's no swearing. There's nothing inappropriate. The one that you sent over.
I mean,
he doesn't know.
Did
Dave says yes, so we're
Okay.
good. All right, we're going to play it real quick. Here it is.
Girlfriend or your friend?
No, we're just friends, bro.
Have you ever thought about possibly trying to
hook up with her?
Yeah.
He definitely did. He's lying right now.
I'm gonna try and figure out how to talk to women tonight. Yeah?
Hey, can you help my friend eat?
2 in the morning when the night's over, if you haven't found a girl, are you willing to lower your standard to...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're having our friend's divorce party.
Yes.
I love, but look at, you're funny because you're all nervous here.
Yeah.
But you're firing off those questions like 100%. A pro.
Yeah, when I'm in my golf cart, I don't care about anything except for just trying to get the craziness out of everyone that gets in the golf cart. So.
What's the craziest thing that you can talk about?
That's what I was going to say.
Like,
yeah.
The crazy, because I'm looking at some of these headlines, it's like, don't talk about that. But something crazy, but still like PG-13 that you can say happened.
He doesn't have any.
That's tough. I mean, I have a... Man, that's tough. All I can ever think of when people ask me that question, can I just say I had 2 guys that came to telling their wives they were going on a boys' trip for golfing. but really they were in a
hanging out. They were hanging out.
They were hanging out in a
different type
of way.
Okay.
Wait, so then do you feel bad because you know all this stuff? And are you like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know all this stuff. It's like, should I tell
So, like,
wives?
at the end of the day, I have a heart, right?
Okay.
I didn't create the channel to, like, wreck someone's life,
Sure.
humiliate them, but also at the end of the day, what these people do out in public, I mean, that's on them.
Yeah.
It is public, and they know they're being taped. You tell them.
Yeah, 100%.
But this isn't like a confessional at a Catholic church where it's like between me and you, and you're not going to tell anybody.
No. I mean, I tell everyone that gets on the cart, I'm like, hey, I mean, the camera's right there.
Yeah.
You know, the camera is dead center, and especially when I hand the mic in their hand, I mean, they're holding that thing, and they're confessing
a lot.
They like
everything.
to talk.
Yeah.
But people love this because you said that you had 1 month that you did how many views?
25 million.
25 million views in 1 month on YouTube.
I'm reading these headlines and I'm blushing.
How can folks find you if they want to watch what Anita's blushing about?
So the biggest channel, the biggest platform that I have is it's Instagram. So it's Night Cart Confessions. That's kind of where I post majority of my content. And then come September, I'm actually launching like the reality show aspect. So I've poured thousands of dollars into this production, kind of what you guys got going on here. And I think it's finally going to be like the reality show that like Scottsdale's always wanted.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
The inaugural show, Ty and I should come and ride around with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He has some confessions
I have
to make.
none. I am an angel.
And because, and then you just let me know what you want for it to get posted online.
I love
None of
this.
it.
How fun. This is such a great idea.
Yeah.
What has been like reaction from folks? Like, when you must get, I mean, tons and tons of comments too.
I mean, it's rewarding at the end of the day. I mean, everyone has had this idea. Like, there's golf cart drivers from here to Fort Lauderdale to Chicago, all over, and they're like, oh, dude, I always wanted to do that.
But you did it.
And it's like, but at the end of the day, the editing is the toughest part.
Yeah.
I mean, I put hours and hours. My girlfriend yells at me all the time to get off the phone, to get off the computer. But the editing is the biggest thing, but the reward of people recognizing you when you're out and about. And I always encourage people to come up and say hi. So
we've got 15 seconds. Ryan, thank you so much for coming in. Let us know when you get that show off the ground. We want you to come back. Again, this is fun.
Appreciate
this one
you guys.
is What's the Honest Answer? You want to watch that episode.
Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning. It is 11:30 now on Fox 10 Talks, you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us through this Monday. The chat is very active. I came in on the last half of that conversation that Anita and Ty were having with their guest. I'm definitely interested in that person's account now and all that they're kind of documenting with our visitors here in Old Town. Pretty funny conversation. You missed some good stuff,
Oh,
Celeste.
no, I'm from my desk. I was checking it out. So, good morning, Ember Ivan. Good morning, Jennifer. Dave Bristow, nice to see you still in here. And Linda Montorth as well. So we have a lot of people still hanging with us this morning. Happy Monday, everyone. It's good to see all of you.
Yeah, we love to see it. We have a special guest lined up for you guys today. Amy Summers is speaking with us this morning. She is the author of an amazing book called Lift, 10 Mentorship Touchpoints to Empower Your Team and Accelerate Your Career. So we're going to welcome her on to the show here this morning. Good morning, Amy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I kind of want to go back before we get into talking about your book and mentorship and leadership skills. But you first founded Pitch Publicity in 2003. And I watched kind of the highlight reel that you had of your internship program. And you said this is not your typical internship. It's internship and mentorship in one. Can you talk about why that is important and how you got started in all of this?
Absolutely. Well, I always tell people that I was an accidental entrepreneur, but I'm also an accidental mentor. So I started my own company at age 27, not because I wanted to, but I got fired from my other agency job, and I was really looking for somewhere to work. And I had a bunch of clients that said, just buy a phone, buy a computer, keep working for us. So I did. And here I am 23 years later running my own company. But along the way, you know, you have to hire people to work for you. And it's not something that a lot of people think about when they build a business. So that's what my book Lift is really about, is the behind the scenes of building a company and the importance of investing in people so that you can also be a success at what you do.
You know, what are, if you can name off maybe 1, 2, 3 things that are most important? You mentioned people, you know, they're so important. They're an important part of building that business. What are some of the other things that we should really strive to do if we're building a business?
Well, as I mentioned, you know, people are the number one thing, and we don't think about that. We often think about our product or our service or whatever we're launching as entrepreneurs. But if you aren't able to transfer your mission and your vision to the people that are working for you, then you really don't have a company. You just have an idea. And so I think that that's the hardest thing for entrepreneurs to do. Obviously, you have to have a good service. You have to have a good product. All those things are important. But I've worked with many companies that had all of those things, but they just couldn't get their team on board, and they had a lot of turnover, and that stuff will really put back a company if they don't have the right team. So I would say that is the number one thing. It's more important than your service, your product.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. So you put the focus on the people, on your team, building them up, because the more confident they feel, the better they're going to execute whatever their role is. And you had talked about how you dreamt of climbing the corporate ladder. And then when you got there, you realized, you said you want to knock it down. Why? What issue were you seeing, and what did you hope to change from that?
Well, I just had a lot of dissatisfaction climbing the traditional corporate ladder. You know, the more I climbed, the less happy I was with myself. And I was noticing people around me were the same way. So when I started my own company, I wanted to really turn that around. And if I could build others up, you know, maybe their dreams were not my dreams. You know, maybe they were working for me now, but they wanted to do something else in the future. I asked them what they wanted to do, and I helped those dreams become possible for them. And many people that have worked for me have gone on and done other things, but that's kind of been our deal. And so I think a mistake that a lot of business owners make is they think that when people come to work for them, that is also their, you know, goal and desire. And it isn't always what it is. Sometimes they're just there to get some skills and build their own career, and you can help them along on their journey. And in exchange, they'll help you.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it too is that you mentioned kind of the area when it comes to, you know, training, when you're training people and building them up within the company, and if they're in turn successful, then you don't have to deal then with retraining a new batch of employees within your business. And I think you touched on something too, is that the culture within a workplace really matters. And I think you keep good people when you have a great culture in the workplace.
Yes, that's true. But I also address in my book that we shouldn't rely on keeping people. So we shouldn't hold on to talent. When someone's ready to, move on to a different part of their career, maybe it's a different department, or maybe it's just another company entirely, we should feel confident in ourselves that we were able to develop talent and that we can develop talent again. And so we shouldn't hold on to people. We shouldn't trap them in their office. We should let them go when it's time for them to go, when it's their turn, and be confident in ourselves that we know how to develop talent. And so that's one of the things I really stress and lift for leaders. And I have a whole touch point on that called Elevate and Release, to not be afraid of that part of the career journey.
Well, and I think you touched on that. That's what I meant to rephrase. You keep people in a way where you're developing them within the company, where they get promoted within your company. And then eventually maybe they launch their own company and you become in turn their mentor as a result of all your hard work that you've kind of invested in them.
And it's a win for you, right? Because if somebody worked for you and then they go on and they succeed and they even do better than you, it's such a compliment back to you. So that's why I try to reframe it in the book, that other people's successes are just a reflection of you if you were helping them in that process and that part of their journey.
That's so true.
Yeah. I think of it as being a parent, right? Like, you want your children to grow up and be great people and go off to do great things. It should be something you're proud of in your employees as well. You help get them to that next step in their phase of life. So that's a great way to look at it. And then you talk about confidence, how we're not born with it, but it's built. Describe what that means to you, and how do you build confidence?
Sure. So build confidence is touch point number 4 in my book, Lift. And I will say that it's probably the number one thing that I'm hearing right now that most young professionals say they need. They want to be more confident in what they're doing. And so really, where do we get confidence? We're not going to get it just from being book smart. We have to be a little street smart, right? So we have to get it from experiencing things, making mistakes, making our own mistakes, and learning from others. Using our voice more than hiding behind emails. So there's lots of ways to build confidence.
And let's talk about your book more specifically. I love the cover. It's this bright, beautiful blue, big, bold letters, and butterflies on the cover as well. Can you walk us through, was there any, particular meaning either in the color you chose or in the butterflies at all when you were creating this book?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because as an author, you always fear what your book cover is going to look like. But I fought pretty hard for mine, and I actually did a lot of research behind it. So I interviewed all of my mentees that had worked for me over the past 2 decades about what really resonated with them, as I was really targeting this book to emerging leaders that were in the category of millennial or Gen Z. And they really liked the idea of wanting to have a self-help book or self-improvement book, but they didn't want people to know that they were reading a self-improvement book. So I think that when you look at Lift, it could be a beach read, or you could be improving yourself in your career. So I thought that was an interesting insight. And then the butterflies are representing a metamorphosis that you're going to have during your career journey. And I really wanted the butterflies to resonate with anyone. So, and then the colors are just to elevate and lift and make you feel elevated.
Yeah,
I think the whole idea with the cocoon and the butterfly is such a really good analogy to have, and that can happen in many stages of life, right? It can happen in your teen years, it can happen in your first job, it can happen as a parent, and when you're launching a company, you're transforming in those different areas of life.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I actually addressed that in the book. You both have brought it up a couple of times. Parenting is mentoring as well. I mean, it is the same thing that we're doing here at the job. And actually, the touch points, the 10 touch points was a term used by Dr. Brasington, like in 1992. He wrote a book called Touch Points, but he was referring to touch points for your child as they were developing. And so I looked at that and I said, we also need touch points as we're developing into this phase of, going from child to young professional.
Yeah.
And so touch points are really reminders of things that we need to be doing to develop the human connection that we have with people. And we're so focused right now on technology and automation, but we're not really thinking about how do we develop those human skills that a lot of younger generations maybe are lacking.
It's interesting. I'm glad you brought up the whole AI portion, because last week we have this segment called Ask AI. And we asked AI, what were some of the 5 top jobs that AI will not take over? Or how can we train to kind of work with AI? And one of them was critical thinking, because it will not be able to take over that portion of humanity. Humanity still exists and it still rules. We just have to figure out how to manage AI and the rest of technology. I think you touched on a really important point.
It's so important. And I think that, obviously we all need to learn AI and how to use it. It's going to be critical in our jobs, but we also need to know how to massage it and how to add that human touch to it. We can't just use it by itself in a box. We have to have that human connection. Even creatives, there's 28 comics in my book lift, and I used an artist to create them originally. And I would have never gotten this creation from just going through AI, because it was some of his lived experience, Stephen Palladino, who was my artist. It was some of my lived experience. And so you get to follow the polar bear boss, the caterpillar mentee, who turns into a butterfly by the end of the book. And it's a beautiful story, but, I think creatives are under pressure a lot. They think that their jobs are going to be taken over by AI, but it was that human element between Stephen and I that we were able to develop this comic series in the book that I just don't think you would have gotten from just a pure AI.
Yeah, and he's worked with some big companies. Even big superstars, including Beyonce. And I actually kind of like that aspect. You put a little bit of illustration in this book that's meant for adults, right? So we can enjoy that too as we're reading through your book. Amy, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time on Fox 10 Talks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Here's the Mystery Cam. Get your guesses in, you guys. We'll be right back.
Great job, Amy. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
All right, welcome back, you guys. That short break is over, and we do have some guesses for the mystery cam in the chat. I'm sorry I didn't give you a little bit longer to ponder over this, but you had some time in the break there. Be Kind Forever says, hey, I think this is Pennsylvania. It's a good guess, and there's a couple others in there, too.
Yeah, Linda Monter says Massachusetts. We have Louis Gonzalez with his South Carolina. And by the way, I'm loving the convo in the chat this morning. You're talking about little ducks in your neighborhood and some of the little critters that you guys have running around. So we love reading about what you have going on. Like Jennifer says, we've seen enough wildlife for the year, fighting off gopher snakes, king snake, ground squirrels, a spotted squirrel, which was the size of a small dog, coyotes, and more. Jennifer, we need to know what neighborhood you're living in, because is it called the Phoenix Zoo? I don't know, but we have a lot of good guesses out here. It's rainy, it's cloudy. We do have a very cool building in the foreground here, and it's very green. And Dave Rousseau is talking to Jen. He said that's God's country out there in AJ and Apache Junction.
And I wonder, do we have someone new in the chat today? Guessing San Diego? Or is your handle Two Old Farts 2.0?
He's an oldie but goodie.
Love it.
Yeah,
right,
Two Old Farts have been here. Too. Yeah. Okay, so what are you going to go with, Desiree?
I'll go Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I will go with Massachusetts. I'm going to go with Chrissa Key in 7RD, 7 Road, maybe. All right, here is your answer, and it is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, look at that, you guys.
All right. Outlaw Dynamo, nice work.
Coming in at the end there. Good job, Outlaw. But no one else guessed Louisiana. All right.
Jenna, by the way, we need to see photos. Send them to our email, fox10talks@fox.com. We need to see photographs of your zoo out in Apache Junction, if you have any of those, because that's a lot of animals that you have running through your yard.
All right, we have one more guest lined up for you today. We are excited to talk to Alex Day, a New York sports creator, reporter, a host as well. You probably have seen him on a few different outlets. Good morning, Alex. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning to you as well. The coffee tastes great. The sun is shining.
The bagels are extra crisp today.
You have a perma smile on your face. What's it feel like?
It's hard to put into words. I know the people in Phoenix and Arizona have gone through some sports droughts of their own, so you can relate. This means the world to us Knicks fans. We haven't won since 1973. This is a basketball town. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is talking to each other. We have a lot of teams in the city. We have Yankees fans, Mets fans, Giants fans, Jets fans. The whole city comes together for the Knicks. This is such a likable team, and it's hard to put into words what this means for so many generations of Knicks fans.
And you are a New York guy through and through. So my husband is going to be jealous that I'm speaking with you. You worked for his favorite team, the Yankees. You went through an interesting time in your life during COVID, as many of us did, a big transition for a lot of folks. And you've created now your own platform to follow these sports teams that you love. Walk us through what that's like to be in the position that you are today, covering this huge Knicks championship.
Yeah, it's been my dream. It's been my dream. I worked in production for 4 years. I was a cameraman, a producer, a writer, and I got laid off during COVID. And I started creating content, and that content got a life of its own. And I did hosting and broadcast for a couple years, and eventually started doing it full time, summer of 2024. So I'm called by a lot of people in New York the New York sports guy, which is very funny to me, because I think if you ask people when I was 7 years old what I was good at and talking about, it was New York sports. So getting to cover the Yankees, the Giants, the Rangers, the Knicks has really been a blessing. And I interview athletes from every team all over the country, and I will cover events, every team all over the country. But the way I cover New York sports really comes from my heart. And I'm incredibly grateful to have an audience who cares about it. And on days like today, when we just won a championship that we never thought would be imaginable, it's a lot more fun than doing rants after the Giants lose again and miss the playoffs. Or
you got a lot of cleanup in the city to do, too. A lot of folks celebrating, getting a little wild last night. But what is it for you that you think really took this team to that championship? Why is this team so special?
This is like a high school AAU team on the world's biggest stage. These guys went to college together. They've known each other since they were 16. They're extremely likable. You know, it's weird saying that New York would feel like the underdog, but that's what this team has done to this city and this country, where people are infatuated with how tight-knit this team is. And in a city that is so desperate for a championship with this organization, it's hard not to be excited for them. They're full of underdog stories. Jalen Brunson has been counted out his whole life. And then once he finally made it, he did the biggest selfless thing you could and left $113 million on the table so they could make the team around him better and create a winner. If that's not selfless, everyone wants to say they're selfless. You could see it in their actions, and it's hard not to gravitate towards a captain like that. And all the guys around him have similar types of stories that are impossible to root against.
You know, I think for a lot of folks in Phoenix, I grew up here as a Phoenix Suns fan, and the Spurs were always hard on us. So I think we were rooting for the Knicks. A lot of Arizonans were rooting for the Knicks. You mentioned Jalen. You interviewed him. What is he like? You mentioned, you know, the money he gave up, he left on the table. It's a different type of athlete that draws together a city like New York.
You have to have a certain type of leadership quality to be not just the man in New York, but a captain in New York. And to me, he's always reminded me so much of Derek Jeter. He has that intangible quality where everything's going to be okay. You don't see him doing too many commercials. He lets his game speak for itself. And there's a feeling, there's an aura around him that when things are tough, it's going to be okay because we have that guy on our team. And we see other athletes come into the city and they're more concerned about their star power before they're winning. And for Jalen, it's always been about that. And I got a chance to interview him last year. Such a great guy, really stoic. I got him to crack and smile, which felt like an accomplishment for such a serious guy. But could not be a kinder, more selfless guy, and really embodies what New Yorkers are about. And it is always about the betterment of the group in the city, and that's what Jalen Brunson's about.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit from an interview that you did with him. I'm going to play this, and then if you want to talk about it from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, here we go.
How does Jalen Brunson remember his high school teammates? You ready?
Yep.
What number did Connor Cashaw wear?
He wore 53, Cashaw.
Oh.
53, 35, and 1.
Correct. You guys talk regularly, don't you?
Too much.
Too much. Every day?
Yeah.
Who on your team led the team in charges with 47?
Parker Nichols.
Parker Nichols. Why do you know that?
Because he had an absurd amount of charges. Absurd amount.
Did you learn how to take a charge from him? Because you take a lot of charges yourself.
He played a part in it. He was our below the rim protector.
Someone's got to stand tall in the lane. Who hit the second most threes to you your senior year?
It was either Matt Johnson or Ruji Aoki.
Look, Jalen, we don't get either question. You got to put your name on one here. And they're going to see this, too.
I'm going to say Ruji.
Is that your final answer?
No. I'm going to go with my gut and say Matt Johnson.
Is that your final answer?
No. I'm going to say Ruji. Final answer. Was it Matt Johnson?
Matt Johnson, there we go. Bang! Was there a guy on?
Oh, my gosh. So that was just a portion of that. That looks like fun. You held him to that. You got to pick one or the other here.
Yeah, of course. That's a series I have where I ask athletes about their high school teammates, make them turn back the clock to where it all started. And I don't think he was anticipating talking about his high school boys in a random interview. So it was great.
You know what's cool about that is that it makes him connect with, even though he makes like $113 million over 4 years, it makes him seem like an ordinary guy, right? Kind of that, hey, he was like the high school athlete, and he just is one of the lucky ones who made it big.
Exactly. And I think that's a huge part of my brand, which is showing that these athletes are human too. And they have to talk to reporters after games. They put a lot of time into their craft, and we see them with the helmet on, with the sneakers on, whatever sport they're playing. But these are just ordinary people too. So I'll cover teams in an intense way on my page, but when I have the chance to interview them, I like to try to bring them out of their shell and show fans what these athletes are like. And if you could picture yourself hanging out with them in your living room, that's how I want it to feel. So whether it's the Yankees and Knicks, the Giants, the Rangers, that's really what my brand is all about. And, not even just those teams, other sports as well. So, Jalen, I think, is a perfect example of that because of how stoic he is, and he doesn't typically let his guard down.
Yeah.
We've got about 2 minutes left with you.
What do you, if you mentioned you like to ask them about, certain things that maybe we may not know about or hear about on the court or the field. Do they have like a snack? I'm a mom of 3 teenage athletes. Do they have a snack that they like mid-game, halftime? Do they, what's on their Spotify lists? Like, what are they listening to? Cool things like that.
See, it's funny because I feel like when you're a kid, all you really want is a peanut butter and jelly after a game or before
Right.
a game.
Yes.
Peanut butter and jelly is still just as popular for these guys
Very
when they get
cool.
older. And I've talked to a lot of NFL players as well. They're telling me how they have these jams, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in their locker rooms, and they fly through these. Peanut butter and jelly is high up on the list.
Alex, that's so funny you say that.
There's a lot of rap, which I'll hear both. I'll hear country and then I'll hear rap, which I feel like before a game kind of go not really hand in hand. But those are the 2 I hear the most.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
A difference in music there. No, it's funny about the peanut butter and jelly because I saw you on your Instagram stories just eating a jams, and I go, what? There's like Uncrustable is like top tier to me.
It's so good.
No, the jams are delicious.
Are they?
I've been on the jams train for the last couple months. They're good for you too.
Yeah. All right, a minute left here. Let's just wrap up by getting your take. What's the vibe in the city like, and how do you think this win changes the fan base moving forward for the Knicks?
So I know people in Arizona watch now, or who are watching right now, are seeing the clips of fans celebrating in New York. And there will be a couple people who do things that they shouldn't have, and it's going to give a perception. But I want to let you know that the vibe is so positive and incredible in the city right now. And this has been generations in the works. So I hope those couple of videos that you see where it seems like Gotham is burning down doesn't change your perception, because this is really an incredibly special moment. And, when the Knicks won, I had a group chat with my 2 cousins, my dad, my grandfather.
We love it.
Tears
Alex,
were shed during
we got
this.
5 seconds. We're going to follow you
really
on
a special moment for New
Instagram, No
York.
Huddle Sport.
And I know we're not typically an underdog city, but if you're...
Can you not hear us?
He was really great. Nice work.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that ending there. Can you not hear? Can you hear us? There.
$12 on the dot.
Another special edition of Fox 10 Talks. at noon.
That's right. Welcome back in. We have a lot to talk about because this, too, is a jam-packed show.
Indeed
We're going to
it is.
begin with Krystal Ortiz, our meteorologist and weather expert, who put together a very fantastic weather program.
Oh yeah, we've got our monsoon special. It's tonight at 6:30, or actually, I think right now it's already on Fox Local and our YouTube channel. So if you want to get the early preview, you can catch it now. I was just watching the final version myself. I watched like 15 minutes of it, say like 22 minutes or something, and it's super different than in the last few years that we've done it. We incorporated some new graphical stuff. We dove in. Erica Horvatine, meteorologist Erica Horvatine, she dove into the new Phoenix Dust Scale, which is officially launching this year. It's a new way to kind of understand the dust storms, the sizing of them, kind of in the way you would hear like a tornado getting a category to it. Dust storms will now as well. So super interesting stuff that we dove into, and it took many months to put together, but we're really proud of it.
We've been seeing you guys behind the scenes working diligently, so all your hard work has finally paid off and we get to watch it. But the other thing that you guys do in this special is talk about what you expect to happen for the monsoon.
Yeah, so at the very end we have the monsoon forecast. So I'm not going to get into too much of it right now, but
you have to watch.
Yeah, you have to watch to be able to see all of it. But if you've been watching on AZAM or anything, you've heard me talk about that. We're hoping and leaning towards expecting it to be a bit more active. So we'll break down why we're expecting potentially a more active monsoon pattern. We'll talk more about the El Nino, which a lot of people have been hot on discussing. And there's just some really cool stuff. Corey dives into flash flooding after everything that happened in Globe and Miami. Ashley Loessa, she dives into more on our urban heat island effect and how it can really just like cook the valley, as we know. So there's a lot of cool stuff. I break down the anatomy of a microburst after the Tempe microburst that we had last year that caused so much damage as it knocked down just basically every tree in its path. So yeah, it's hopefully really informative and people will learn a lot. 6:30 tonight on Fox 10, or again, it's either on our streaming channels already. I think I saw that it was at noon, so like 2 minutes ago they dropped it on these different things. So yeah,
today is the official beginning, the start of the monsoon, and I feel like the storms weren't huge, but we had rain valley-wide,
which in itself is exciting because usually the monsoon season is defined just as a season like a hurricane season. It doesn't mean the first day you're going to get a hurricane. The first day of the monsoon, typically we do not see much or anything. In fact, June is our driest month on average of the year. So for us, we've had some wet weather over the weekend, Friday into the Saturday, Sunday. We had some storms in the vicinity, and then this morning we had some of those storms. So actually, let's take my graphics. There's the live camera view from downtown Phoenix right now, and you can already see in the far distance clouds that are billowing up because there is another round of storms that have already fired off over the higher elevations, and we're hoping those will kind of trickle down into the valley here in the next, like, what time is there? It's noon, so in the next like 5-6 hours, potentially some more storms moving our way. But this morning, the numbers that we had, as you said, they weren't huge, but we had a couple thunderstorms in the Buckeye area, picked up about 1/3 of an inch of rain. These are all Maricopa County Flood Control District numbers, by the way. A few hundredths of an inch in Levine and like parts of South Phoenix, a few hundredths of an inch over South Mountain, and just under 1/10 of an inch in the Wild Horse Pass area, kind of where the 202 and the 10 intersect, is where we saw one other good little thunderstorm roll by. So not big numbers, but we picked up some moisture nonetheless, which is exciting for us to start the monsoon season. This is what things look like right now on Fox Vision. So like I said, there's already new thunderstorms that have developed, and you can see right now they're kind of moving in like an arc. Prescott, Flagstaff down to Show Low in the White Mountains. And that's where they're going to hang out for the next few hours. The reason is the way the monsoon pattern works for us is that we get this moisture flow that comes up from the south. It gives us plenty of moisture to tap into, but it doesn't necessarily give us a trigger for these storms. So what we're looking at is that without the trigger for the storms, the way that we get storms to develop is over the mountainsides. The winds or the air lifts up the mountainsides, bubbles up into storm formation as we head over your early afternoon. And then as these storms kind of, I call it exhaling, but as they maybe start to weaken some and the wind flows out of them, it runs down the mountainside, sometimes bubbles up again up into the valley. So then you get this like dose of storms that make their way into the valley as we head into the evening. So that's what we're looking at the possibility for today. But in general, that's kind of how our monsoon works. So chances for rain go from 10 to 20% chance today into this evening. Then we're dry our Tuesday into Wednesday. And then Thursday, there's a 10% chance as well. I will say this is for the valley. For the high country, there's at least a chance for storms every day this week. Some scattered storms. Not everyone's going to get it. It's not going to be a washout, but there will be the chance for some showers or spot thunderstorms, not even necessarily like severe warned storms. It doesn't look like it's a great pattern yet. This is not a fully defined monsoon pattern yet. We are waiting for that to happen. It usually happens more like in July, but we are inching closer and closer, obviously, as you can see from the Futurecast. So here's the timing of the storm chances the rest of today as we go from our afternoon hours to our early evening. This is 5 p.m. Notice the model does show a storm or two starting to fire up along like the north and west edge of the valley. And the question is, will a few of these outflows of storms or the winds out of these storms trigger additional storm action in between, like, say, 5 and I'm going to go 8 p.m. This is 7 o'clock. We're pausing the model, and you can see a little bit of rain still in the vicinity. And then finally, it starts to fall apart overnight and into tomorrow morning before, again, in the afternoon tomorrow, we could see a few additional storms develop. But I think tomorrow really focus just over the high country. So, I mean, this is great. First day of the monsoon, and we're looking at some chances. So we'll wrap it up with this, guys, which is your storm threats for this evening. Lightning is a low moderate threat. Some gusty winds around the valley, those outflow winds, a low to moderate threat. And that could lead to some patchy dust as well. Just a little heads up for you if we do see some of those winds kicking up. Although I will say, winds coming from the north, usually less dust than the winds that come from the south. So maybe not as high of a threat. And there's the look at the 10-day Foxcast. 108 for our high today. 110, though, by tomorrow, and about the same Wednesday. It's not until the weekend when we may see a small drop to our temps of about 104, 105. But happy monsoon season. We're going to try to keep everybody safe in that special again tonight at 6:30. I hope a lot of people can tune in.
We'll be tuning in. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, let's talk about the stock market because we've seen some pretty drastic changes with the news over the weekend that there is an end to the war. Allegedly will be signed. Reportedly will be signed Friday. So we saw those stocks surging. Oil prices going down throughout the day. Someone texted me and said from 7 o'clock this morning, it was, I think, 11 o'clock, they saw the prices drop 4%.
I was trying to pull up the stock market to give you a live look, but it's no longer on my buttons there. Hold on, ENG 21. Hold on, there it is, you guys.
Yeah.
There's the stock market. You can see up almost 600 points on the day today, surging to a new record. We're sitting right now at 51,790. So we thought we'd bring in our next guest here this morning. We have Mr. Scott Colbert. He is the chief economist at Commerce Bank. Good morning, Mr. Colbert.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Perfect. So what are you seeing? What's your opinion as to what's happening right now?
Well, the markets have been discounting this potential opening for some time. They've been gradually bringing these oil prices down because of the, hope for semi-truce in the Gulf. And of course, this is as close as we've come to both seeing the president and the Iranians agree that maybe something's coming this Friday. So we've seen a heck of a rally, like you said. Oil prices down about 4%. They probably peaked about $125 a barrel here in this country, and they're down to about $80 a barrel today. So this ought to help on inflation. It's brought interest rates down. It's put almost every major equity market at a record level, and it's improving credit spreads. And there's some, there's widespread optimism, but still the sticking points are the details that come out on Friday.
Yeah. Let's talk about what happens on Friday. Obviously, the president has touted that there's a deal in the works, but it has to be signed, and that's when the Strait of Hormuz is officially going to be reopened, which is on Friday, because the Iranians said that they're not going to do anything until that deal has been signed. Do you think the market is going to continue to go up from here, or are we going to see just kind of it flatline until we get to Friday when there's some sort of actual pen on paper?
Well, it appears that there really is going to be some pen on paper, but my guess is that we overestimate how good it's going to be, and then you'll see some fade here eventually. It's questionable why, like, the NASDAQ today reaches a record level, right? And the price of oil doesn't have a heck of a lot to do with tech stocks in general. You can understand why the Dow is moving, maybe the broad-based S&P, but, this has also been a technologically led, surge as well. So you're picking up other things other than just the price of oil. But in general, the market tends to buy on the rumor and sell on the fact, and the facts are what we're going to see on Friday.
Sure.
I was just going to ask you about that. Talk a little bit about why the stock market relies so much, or I guess reacts so much to the news of the day.
Well, yeah, wow. The stock market is a very psychological animal, isn't it? And we always like to say the economy kind of moves along like a tortoise over time, and it eventually pulls up earnings, pulls up companies' momentum, pulls up, the stock market in general. but the stock market's kind of like a rabbit just bouncing around from side to side, getting pushed around, psychologically day to day to day. It's a discounting mechanism of the future with everyone sort of trying to outguess each other. And of course, the algorithms now and the super fast, computers that we have that speed up all the transactions. So you see things in, faster than ever real time. And it can be just a subtle sentence or any type of remark or even a rumor that quickly moves the market. We always like to tell our investors here, and we manage about $80 billion for other people, don't try and outguess this. Keep invested. It tends to work out over time, but you have to suffer through the volatility. The biggest surprise probably is this, that we have had this war going on, even if there might be a ceasefire, coming up. There's no doubt that energy prices are still materially higher, and yet here we are still at record stock levels across the planet, almost everywhere, maybe except for a few countries in Europe.
I was going to ask you too, obviously gas prices, have been a big focus because of this war in Iran. And you mentioned at the top that we're starting to see those crude oil prices dropping significantly. I guess the big question that a lot of consumers have is, when do you think that's going to dwindle down to you and me when we're filling up our cars at the pump?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll take a little bit of time. They're very quick to move them up on the way up, and then they'll slow to take those gas prices down. But they tend to work, tick for tick over time. We've seen basically about a 50% increase in the average price of a gallon of gas at the peak. So we went from something just less than $3 a gallon to something just more than $4.50 across the country. I know in Phoenix those levels are even higher down in the southwest part of the country. But we were already down to $4.20 last week, and will likely be closer to $4 here pretty shortly. So it takes a little bit of time, but it'll work its way through. I think the biggest reason, though, this hasn't really impacted the overall economy that much is we don't realize how little transportation fuel is used as a percent of GDP. Back in the 80s, of course, we used quite a bit of oil, but today we're down to just using about 2% of GDP is even attached to transportation fuels. Transportation fuels is just a code word for gasoline and diesel and jet fuel. So we're not nearly as energy dependent, and that's why this hasn't presented itself as such a big punch in the face, if you will, as much as other things can move the markets around.
Sure.
Scott, we thank you so much for your time and the information. We definitely all have our fingers crossed for that peace deal to be signed on Friday and have that positive impact. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. All right, we are going to take a quick break right here on Fox 10 Talks on this Monday at noon. We will be back in 2 minutes from now.
We are in the midst of FIFA fever.
We sure
right now.
are.
Did you watch the game Friday?
I watched pieces of it.
Okay.
But it's exciting, isn't it?
It's very exciting, and it was fantastic to see USA do as well as they did against Paraguay. 4-1 was the score, and now Iran's World Cup team is in Los Angeles today for the first match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, but the Iranians across the city say they're kind of torn about the team's campaign. So we have Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor. She filed this report from L.A. earlier today. Take a look.
Los Angeles is often nicknamed Tehrangeles because it's home to the largest Iranian population outside Iran. But this World Cup, many Iranian Americans say it's difficult to know who to cheer for. Iran's soccer team training on U.S. soil for the first time this World Cup, the same day the two countries reached a peace deal. Tonight, they'll play New Zealand at Los Angeles Stadium, but Iranians here are divided over whether to support.
The few I know, they are cheering for Iran, but the ones I see on internet or on Instagram, they are like against the team. I mean, the team doesn't have anything to do with their government.
But for some members of LA's Aria Football Club, the national team is an extension of the Islamic Republic. The recreational squad is comprised mainly of Iranian players, many of whom moved to the U.S. after the revolution.
Any player that was pro-Iranian people has been picked out of the team.
Amin Jafari says tensions grew during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, when Iran's team remained largely silent about violent government crackdowns.
People were expecting more action from those players to be on the side of people.
Iran is considered an underdog to win the World Cup. They're missing their best striker, who was reportedly left off the team after a social media post angered Iranian officials. Iran's head coach hopes his players can put those distractions aside.
Football will bring about joy and enjoyment and bring closer the cultures and countries.
The Iranian team is limited to brief trips into the U.S. for matches and will fly back to training camp in Mexico after the game. In Los Angeles, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Soccer not the only sport that people were watching all weekend long.
Oh my gosh, the Knicks. This has been so much fun, actually, to watch the Knicks.
Did you watch?
I watched, again, bits and pieces, and then I just woke up to seeing all the folks celebrating because I was watching on my phone, following the score, and I was like, oh, they're down. They're not going to make it. And then all of a sudden, I saw and it was final and they won.
I felt like they weren't down all that much, and it wasn't as surprising. But, man, that was a game. Mikey Kaufman, overtime, Mikey. Hello. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me.
Awesome. Anytime. Let's talk about this because this has been, as I just said, it's been so fun to watch. And these games have been, I mean, some of the best basketball that we have seen in a really long time. Is that what folks are talking about?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm actually based here in New York, so the city is just electric right now. And I think, you know, it was a 5-game series in the NBA Finals. You'd hope for 7, but I think everyone's kind of agreed that this is as good as it gets for a 5-game series.
Oh, I can only imagine. I have some family that lives in New York, and they're all Knicks fans. I think I think it's a prerequisite. If you live in New York, you automatically have to be a Knicks fan. But they were just over the moon, and the celebration in the streets. I mean, it just kind of goes to show you how much momentum that this team really had behind them with the fans.
Yeah, I think the one thing about New York is like the Knicks kind of unite the city in a way that the other New York sports teams don't, right? Like obviously the Yankees are amazing, but there's too many Mets fans that hate the Yankees. But the Knicks are kind of the main basketball team. No offense to the Brooklyn Nets, who were in New Jersey years before. So I feel like when the Knicks win, like it unites the city in a way that it's really like, you know, it's one of one.
What do you think went wrong for the Spurs? I watched that game Saturday night, and they missed, obviously, because they lost some really key shots. But a lot of people had the Spurs winning over the Knicks because the Knicks haven't won in 20-some years.
50-some years.
50-some, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think the Spurs are unbelievably talented. I think they were slightly ahead of schedule with how much success they had making to the finals already. Obviously, defensively, they're like one of the best teams we've ever seen. Wembanyama he's probably going to be the best defender to ever play basketball. So going to this series, I think Knicks fans were nervous, rightfully so. But I think, you know, they're young and I think they lack experience. And this Knicks team has more experience. The core unit's been in the playoffs the last several years. And I think, we have I think Mike Brown, the head coach, deserves a lot of credit for some of the things he did, making adjustments. But I think most of all, like Jalen Brunson is a special player. And I think as long as the Knicks were anywhere in striking distance, Jalen knew and his teammates knew that he was going to make the big plays down the stretch. And the Spurs really didn't have that guy down the stretch to make the plays and close it out. So, I think I saw a stat, something like the Spurs were in the lead 75% of the series.
Really?
So the Spurs, if you watched the games, like they were winning most of the games. And then it came down to getting it done and getting over the finish line. And I do think winning is a skill. And Jalen Brunson, he has 2 national championships in college. He won with Mikal and Josh Hart in college, who are his teammates now. So they know how to win. And I think that, that's its own skill.
Wow.
Big ticker tape parade tomorrow. So how many people are we expecting?
And are you going?
Are you going? Exactly.
Yeah, so the parade, I think, is Thursday. I will be there for 100%. I got to see what's going to happen. I never thought the Knicks would have a parade. I never thought they'd win a championship. Obviously, I'm a little biased as a fan myself. 33 years I've been alive, never seen anything like this. So I'm so pumped I wouldn't miss it.
I love it.
It is Thursday. I misspoke. It's Monday for me, and I'm all,
discombobulated after a long bender of a weekend.
Long day. Already, long day.
Mikey, tell us about
all the sports I was
Mike,
watching.
tell us about your show, Overtime.
Yeah, so Overtime, we're kind of like the sports media brand for the next generation. I'd say, we have tons of programming across social. We started our own leagues, most notably Overtime Elite, which Amen and Asar Thompson, who are like stars in the NBA right now, came through. And, I think, the new sports fan, they kind of consume sports different than the traditional fan, and we kind of meet them where they are. And it's just been amazing. I've been working at Overtime for the past 10 years, and the growth has been spectacular, and it's always something new and exciting on the horizon. So it's been awesome.
Awesome. How do people catch you?
Yeah, I'm on social. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Overtime Mikey. Lots of original content and all things Knicks right now.
Okay, enjoy. Have fun Thursday.
Yeah. Well, might have to have you on
Friday,
and then you could talk about your experience if you wouldn't mind. Maybe we'll put you on the calendar right now. Are you available Friday?
All right, I can make that happen for you.
Okay.
No
we'll have our people call your people, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Mike, thank you so much. What a great interview. We appreciate it.
That's fun.
All right, so we're switching gears here this morning. All eyes are on the skies this week as the Pentagon, they are releasing more information about what we used to call UFOs. Now they call them anomalous phenomenon.
Oh, gosh. UAPs.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that this new volume has more than 70 files in it. Among them, 4 newly released videos that were shot in the U.S. between 2021 2025. Madison.
Let me ask you this before we get to the package.
Have I ever seen one? Do
you believe? Are you a UFO believer?
A tough one, man.
I'm the kind of person I got to see it to believe it.
You've got to go back to the Phoenix Lights.
Well,
think about how many people reported that. Madison Scarpina, though, Fox News correspondent, has more on these files.
The files show there have been several unusual encounters, multiple sightings of strange orbs in the sky just over the last few years. President Trump ordered his administration to make files related to aliens and extraterrestrial life public, and we now have the 3rd batch of those photos, documents, and videos. So here are some of them. Back in July, a couple saw an intense bright light in their backyard around 9 p.m. and started recording on their iPhone 14. They described what they saw as a brilliant red sphere. They say the center appeared to be a white plasma sun about the size of a basketball. They say when the orb moved, a second identical one appeared, and they say the orbs were moving as if they were flying in formation. Not too far from where that happened, another person saw something hovering in the sky in October 2024. The eyewitness describes it as a plasma-like sphere hovering over a pond. They say the primary light source looked like it was separating into smaller luminous points at times, and they say the orb generally stayed in place until eventually disappearing. The Department of War says all of these new videos took place within just 25 miles of each other in an undisclosed location in the northeast U.S. You can watch all the videos on the war.gov/UFO website, and one expert says all these new files are remarkable.
If we end up concluding it's not human-made from some extraterrestrial origin, that would be the biggest discovery ever made by humanity.
The Trump administration says its UFO website is committed to transparency. It already has more than 1.7 billion hits worldwide so far, and the Department of War says it's compiling more videos to release to the public. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
I feel like this has been a hot topic for many years, even before now.
People love to talk about this.
Krystal and I were just chatting, and I said, I feel like the universe is just so big and vast that there probably are other living beings. We can't be the only ones.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it'd be wildly arrogant to think we're the only ones.
Well, that's saying that you believe in something out there, but have you ever seen anything weird?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No. I don't have any good stories.
I was texting my dad because he used to be a pilot.
Okay.
For many years, an airline pilot. And so I asked him, and he said, no, never. Did see comets, but that's it.
Did see comets.
They have a big, I went to a conference here towards Fountain Hills, that area, and they have a conference for people who have experienced and seen UFOs, and it's very interesting talking to people about their experiences, and many of them are pilots.
There was one movie, and I think I mentioned it before, and I forgot the name of it. It's like the guy gets like abducted. I saw that as a child, and so every walking home from like my friend's house, I was always convinced that I was going to get sucked up into some sort of craft.
But also, if they can come here, why can't we go there? Who are they?
We don't have the technology.
Yeah, say we're not technologically advanced enough.
We need to get that Blue Origin to stop taking Gail King up to space and get people up there.
That crew astronauts.
All right, well, Krystal is back because you said we've actually starting to see some of those thunderstorms firing in some areas.
We mentioned it 20 minutes ago, but I thought we'd take a little closer look because we got a minute before the end of the show. Here's the view on Fox Vision. So this is everything up in the high country that we're watching, because remember, if these are strong enough, they should start to kind of send a few down towards the valley late afternoon and into this evening.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. It'd be nice to see some more rain. Right now, some thunderstorms that are moving over the mountains around the Prescott Valley area. So Chino Valley, outside of Prescott and into Dewey, looking at a couple thunderstorms. An isolated thunderstorm east of Flagstaff along I-40, and then this cluster of thunderstorms that's in just south of 260 over like CBQ and moving over some of the White Mountains. But guys, we'll be watching these. Erica Horvatine.